G'day viewers. Well, today we're off to the RAAF base in Wagga Wagga, which is a heritage museum. Let's go see what we find, eh? G'day viewers, here I am at the Wagga RAAF facility. There's a heritage museum here, and they've got 5 aircraft out here in the open where you can walk around, and they've got placards there with information and so forth. And behind me, that is the RAAF Canberra, which part of its service was allocated to the United States Air Force 35th Squadron, where it did 6% of the sorties, so 6% of the missions, I suppose that means, and did 16% of the damage that was inquired. So not a bad little result if that's what you're chasing. So pretty good Air Force history. But anyway, we'll continue down, and I'll walk down to this section here now, which is, I'm now going to walk outside another British design aircraft just after the Second World War. It was developed and came into service in the predominantly British Air Force in the mid to late 40s, and it was called the A77 Meteor. Now, if I walk past the information placard, which is where I just got the name from, so I can remember these things, right? I'll get a bit of a look at it for you. It's a twin jet aircraft thing where the engines are on the wings, and there it is there for you to see. And this particular aircraft did service in the Australian Air Force in Korea, predominantly as a ground attack aircraft. It did come up against MiGs, and it actually lost quite a lot of them. We had 94 aircraft allocated to that conflict of these type. 53 of them were shot down by the MiGs. We got 3 of them back. So definitely outperformed by the MiG at the time, but predominantly it was a ground support aircraft, so in other words it would help the soldiers on the ground. All right, anyway, we'll move on as we continue going around the place, and we'll come up against this next one, which, if I remember right, that's a Macchi. We used to have them predominantly as jet trainers, if I remember correctly. And but I'll walk out the front here, and so you can see it from the front view. I try to do the front views of these aircraft, and this was installed by memory in 1963 in the Australian Air Force. And there it is, there's the old Macchi jet trainer. And the policy, according to the information placard, was to make Australia a full jet training air force from when the pilots first encountered an aircraft to train as a jet fighter, through to when they actually did their service on their allocated fighters that they were using of the day. So there we go there. It could carry armaments, but it was fairly light armaments and fairly light gunned, and not exactly a high-speed jet fighter, but it was still very good in its day for what it was used for. And then I'll come across to the old Mirage 3, and then I'll walk back to my most favourite aircraft. One of my favourite aircraft of all time, definitely my most favourite that's on display here. But we'll come over to the Mirage, which is a French-built Delta Wing fighter / interceptor. And at that stage, when it came into it, from beginning of service to when we retired the aircraft, it was the longest serving combat buddy aircraft or fighter aircraft. There it is there, the Mirage with Delta Wing aircraft. I'll see if I can walk around to the front, get a front view of it. Anyway, it was the longest serving aircraft until we got the McDonnell Douglas, now Boeing, F-18s. And here we go, there's a frontal view of it. Still pretty menacing aircraft, and it was our first aircraft that was a true supersonic aircraft. It actually meet Mach 2.2 by memory. But here's my favourite one just coming up now. the McDonnell Douglas F-111, the Aardvark. It was a long-range fighter bomber, could actually travel 6,000 kilometres, 5,900, so 6,000 kilometres without refueling. So it could actually get to our northern neighbours if they were hostile against us and do the role of a light bomber, as well as an interceptor and support aircraft. But there it is there, the F-111. It was our only aircraft of swept wing design. Now what do I mean by swept wing? Let's come down the side. I'll try to keep the aircraft in full view. The pilots also sat, you'll see the second window there. The second window is where the pilots would sit, and they would sit side by side, much like a passenger car, versus one in front of the other. But the swept wing idea is these wings here, right, would sweep back towards the tail wings. So you could actually put them back in there and then go full tilt, which was, you know, Mach 2.4, I think, right? Now Mach 2.4 is 2.4 times the speed of sound, right? And essentially adopt the formation or profile, I suppose would be a better word, of a delta wing aircraft. In other words, something like the Concorde or the French Mirage Mark III that we just shown. And when it was in landing or approach mode, or even in cruise flying, and it would fly subsonic, the wings would come out and would fly like a conventional fixed wing aircraft, with the wings sitting basically at 90 degrees to the fuselage, which gave better fuel economy. But the big thing that always impressed me about these, outside they look beautiful when they're landing and approaching, they remind me of a magpie, the way it comes into land. You know, it's an absolutely beautiful aircraft. Is it would have this terrain, ground or terrain radar. I don't know what you would call it, but what it would do, it would map out the radar, the ground terrain in front of you, and it would follow you like a hill, up and down over the hills, and sit below radar. Therefore, a stealth aircraft. Before stealth was a thing, you know, like the F-35 and the F-22 in the United States. You know, they make a big deal out of it, or the B-1, and I mean the B-2 bomber and the new B-21 coming out. They make a big deal out of being a stealth aircraft, and therefore hard to see on radar. This was actually doing this well before that was a thing, and this would fly below the radar at subsonic speeds, go out there 3,000 kilometres north of Australia, hit its target, right, go out there, suddenly jump up to cruise altitude, hit its target with its bombs, and then crack the afterburners in, whack out. The wings would fly back to a delta formation, whack out straight out outside of the range, all done before the adversary had the opportunity to respond, and then drop back down, right, below radar, and follow the ocean, then the land contours, right, below radar, with the wings put out at subsonic speeds, cruise back home, and time for a beer and a dinner at night. Fucking I love this aircraft, absolutely amazing. But anyway, I'll go inside and have a look inside the Heritage Museum itself. Hopefully there's something there to video, and we will see. Viewers, back inside the Heritage Museum at the very back room, and I'm going to look forward to the front office. I was just speaking with one of the serving guys, who's donated, Les was his name, very nice gentleman. He was involved, and his CEO is involved in some of these early missions I'm just about to speak about, which was to do with the Canberra bomber and so forth in Vietnam, and also, you know, he flew the Mackie trainers, and you know, it was very, very interesting speaking to him. But anyway, because he's in uniform, he can't appear on camera on a YouTube, right? He's not sure if he's allowed to or not, so we've decided to err on the caution of safety. And so what I'm doing, I'm just going to wander around and just do a show with minimal talking, which is unusual for me, and just to give you an idea, definitely worth having a look at. There's quite a lot to look at here. So if you're in the Wagga region, start that in. If you're in the Wagga region, worth dropping in here. Very nice display, and a little bit about our past history with the Air Force side and some of the service personnel. So without further ado, there we go. I'll move up a bit closer. Right, number 2nd Squadron. There's an aerial view of some of these Canberra bombers, I think they were. I'm really not very good with the Air Force. Right, and plaque there. These medals, these are genuine medals held by the individual, they're not replicas or anything else to do with that there. Distinguished flying career of this particular gentleman, and the gentleman who flew in those bombers is this man here, right? And the guy I've spoken to was a 17-year-old cadet at the time, of which he took him underneath his wing, and he actually flew in these aircraft and everything else. And this was the one where we're allocated to the United States Air Force 32nd Squadron, 35th Squadron I should say, where we did 6% of the sorties with 16% of damage. But anyway, this is some of the communication equipment they would have used in, you know, the various bases and so forth. There's some World War II stuff, right? And again, there's some more bloody stuff here to have a bit of a squiz about. Right, this is going back to World War II. Now I'm entering a World War I section. This is obviously a World War II aircraft, that one there. But it's got the old World War I. Also a food note. That bloke that I pointed out just a footnote, I should say. The bloke I pointed out just a minute ago, who flew in the with the Canberra bombers in Vietnam, that got his wings in a tiger moth. So work that one out. So I think so. There's some of the flying suits and just some pictures around the place. There's lots of placards there to read, so you can read the history of different people and of different squadrons within the RAAF of the time. And go through there. There's a room in here. Now I've got to be careful here because I've got about 20 minutes left before they close. And here's another one. And again, just more stuff here. Right, which shows it there, and there's a reason you would have noticed the colours of the Australian flag outside of all those different, down here, there's all the rank insignias, whether you're a corporal, sergeant or an officer or whatever, right, through there. But you would notice the Australian flag there being a little bit light blue. That's all to do with what the Air Force shows versus the Navy, and I think the Navy has a white background instead of a pale blue versus the civilian one we're all familiar with. Again, another guy here, there's his medals of service, what he's done. And we'll move back out to the main room, and that's the hallway, so there's a room in here. Move that there, so there's a little bit more in here. 25 instruments, dewdrops, I'm not really sure what that's about. Right, I'd have to spend a lot longer than what I did here, actually here, to be honest. Some moving footage, if you want to say, the RAAF apprentice scheme. What was there? Oh, this here is more RAAF apprentice scheme. And for those that may not be from Australia, RAAF stands for Royal Australian Air Force. I think if I'm going to spend some time here, I've got to actually spend a fraction of the time here that this deserves, to be honest, because there's a lot of reading here, a lot of learning to do, and a lot to speak with the different staff to listen to what they have to say, because just in the short time I've been here, the staff that have been talking to me, poor bastards had to listen to me so they don't shut up, have been very informative, and it's very humbling to listen to their stories and to listen to the stories of their mates. But we'll come back in a bit more here. There's a bit more. Look out there, we've got Air Force people, bloody, and Navy and Army singing. We won't say too much about bloody singing. The W, I would imagine, means Women's Royal Australian Air Force. I'm not really sure. Recruitment schemes, and there's all that through there. This definitely looks like a yep, there it is. The Women's Royal Australian Air Force training and so forth. Right, and this would be, by the looks of it, just like a little bloody sleeping quarters that you would have. And they've got a lady there dressed in a woman's uniform. We come through, And this is the apprentice, let's see if I can get a bit closer, the apprentice honour roll. And you got all these ones here, senior apprentice, all these people listed down here for various reasons. My thoughts is it wouldn't just be because they're an apprentice, because there's not enough names here. But they obviously need to be on that honour roll for some reason or not. There's some more footage from, by the looks of this, Second World War. Paratroopers and so forth. Right, this particular guy there, that looks like a prisoner of war camp or something. And yeah, so it keeps going here. We'll have a look down through here. There's the RAAF in the Riverina. And don't trip over the rock, it's some carpet, it's not that hard. And I'll actually go back, get me out the footage. Yes, again, here's the Women's Royal Australian Air Force insignia, a little flag logo there. Down through here. As I said a bit earlier, this was actually this is a little digital display just running through a rotating TV screen. And oh, look at this, they've got a model that looks like a 707. Royal Australian Air Force or something, obviously to do with taking people across. There's the main passenger segment there. And well, they've even got a bloke sitting on the throne. Yeah, see, there he is on the throne. And up here you got your, this is to do with the pilots, their little lunch quarters and so forth. Sort of thing, so not too bad, not too fucking bad. And there's the other side of the same aircraft going through. Right, and there's a placard there to do with number, pop out of the way, try and get it without my, I have to do it like that, without the shadow too much on it from also. So if you want to, you can have a little read of that. Pause the video for a bit and look at it. Some more stuff down through here. There's a map up here. This cloth map during World War II, maps are often used and printed on cloth, blah blah blah. It's World War II, this particular map. And this is the Southwest Pacific area. Right. Strait of Macan, I don't know how to say some of these names. Macasana. East Borneo, righty, I know roughly where that is now. Right. Sort of thing, so in through here, and I'm getting close to the #1 recruitment training. More of this place. Now, bearing in mind there's only a small building, and this is actually the front at the main gate, just before you go underneath the boom gates, right, of the Wagga RAAF base, which is actually a serving RAAF Air Force base. And there's some blokes doing some fitness training stuff. Get a bit bigger on there, so you can see this poor bloke struggling to get over there. Come on, mate, you can do it. You can do it. Yeah, he gets over. Yeah, no worries. All right, and oh, look at this in the corner, an F-111 aardvark. Right, that's a swept wing, and as you can see, it looks like a dart when the wings are swept back. That's, remember the Air Force airplane I showed you a few minutes ago? This would be when it's in full supersonic mode. And something interesting is up here, most modern fighters, you have your pilot there, your navigator there, for example, so they sit behind each other. Here, they sit beside each other. To my knowledge, it's the only airplane, combat airplane, where they actually do that. And with those swept wings, you see, if we come in a little bit closer, this swept wing here, this can actually go out so it would be straight. And one of the things I always like when I would see it, because I've never seen one in person until today, is when I've seen it on the, you know, on the nightly news or something, they show an F-111 landing, has its wings stretched out. It always looks like a magpie coming in with the wings tipped up that little bit, the way it would come in. It's absolutely beautiful. And anyway, and here's some more cabinets there. Catering, training, and there's also people in there, I assume it's to do with that there, and so forth. Anyway, we're going to go through. I've got to not speak quite so loud because people are getting spoke to and explain things. But I'll come through here quietly.
It's amazing.
And
do you just want to go get ready to start closing up?
then I'll turn around.
I better keep looking up before.
And
I'll tell you what to do. It's really.
there's some of these bloody badging on the side there. Whispering Death. Obviously, by the look of their place, to do with the Second World War.
Bring the red
One
flag
here.
on the
Number
side.
31 Squadron.
There's 2 doors, one either side that goes open close. Pull the pin, move open to close.
There we
Bring
go
the flag
there.
in, the flags goes.
The Beaufort Fighter. That rings a bell. I recognise the name. I can't remember why, but I know you can look at that straight away. That's a rotary engine, right? They used to create all sorts of problems for things landing. The pilots landing because they couldn't see shit because of the way the exhaust comes out of them. And you just see flames. Look at this Roll of Honour. More bloody names and everything else on there. We've got a big mural on the side, giant picture, right? Of people there. Again, it looks like the Second World War stuff, right? And coming through, talking about rotary engines and so forth. There's a cowling from an engine that would sit on the outside there. There's more in through there. There we are there. And trying not to get the pictures of anyone who's working here at the moment. And yeah, so guys, that's pretty much everything there. And I've got a guy sitting behind the counter which I speak with, very knowledgeable. But I speak with another guy as well, as I said, also very knowledgeable. It's not enough time was spent here, I think, to actually fully appreciate it. But anyway, I hope you enjoy the footage, and I'll see you on the next video.